Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with my besties and you, everyone in the chat. Happy Solstice Eve. Welcome to the Spiritual View. If you guys are new, I haven't, we're so glad to have you here. And those of you that have been sticking with us, thank you so much. Please share. We have so much coming up for 2025. Thanks to Jen. She's been sprinkling fairy dust all over us with blessings and ideas everyone has. So it's really exciting. As we like to say, we are merging our magic here. And I'm so happy to have Jen, Angie, Wendy, and Marsha here. And hi to Sari and Dawn. Yeah, that's everybody, right? Yes, it's such a great time. And I really think that you guys will enjoy the information we have today. We're going to touch on some cool things about the winter solstice, our favorite things, really about cards and readers, and I can't wait to see what they have to say. And do stay to the end because Miss Jen has created a really fun game, and we'll be giving away a gift, a Spiritual View mug. Am I allowed to say that? Okay, yay! Okay, yay! So that'll be really fun. And please note we will have content every day next week. God bless these women. We love it. We will not be live though. So do, comment on this live replay and you'll be entered in a drawing we will do on the 30th when we come back. And I just can't wait to bring in the new year with you guys, you ladies, and everyone in the chat. And with that, let's take a deep breath and we're going to welcome in Miss Angie with Learn Love Tarot. And she's going to help us ground and just get ready to enjoy this wonderful Friday evening.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Again, what Liz said, thank you for supporting us, all the love and care that you do show us. We love that you share your energy with us in such a beautiful way, simply by liking our content, sharing our content. That's an energy exchange. And we do very much appreciate that. So again, thank you. All right, so we're just going to go ahead, grab your stones if you have them and you want them. And I like to get my feet flat on the floor. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and hold it. And exhale it as slowly as you can, helping your body drop it down into your base chakra, into the root. Regular breath in and out of our nose. And one more, elevatoring all the way up and hold. And exhale as slowly as you can control that breath out of your nose and feel it drop into the root, and then really squeeze around your spine and press all of that air out before returning to your regular breath in and out of your nose if you can. And as our feet are touching the earth, we're going to start with our root chakra right at the base of our spine, seeing the color red and breathing in, sending down that red energetic vibration all the way down our legs and into our feet, out of our toes, and connecting with the roots of all and many things as we are all connected together here in this beautiful moment to our ancestors and guides of the highest white light, known and unknown, who love us all unconditionally and are here to help and guide us this lifetime towards our best and highest good. On the next breath in, coming back up through those roots into your toes, legs, And right at the base of your spine once again, and just give a squeeze to feel grounded. We are safe and protected. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for guiding our show this evening and offering your protective energy to all those who listen to our show tonight, whenever it is that they listen. On the next breath, let's go ahead and come up the spine into the sacral chakra, seeing the color orange, squeezing all around like an orange energetic seatbelt towards your spine, opening up our creative flow and tamping out any false evidence appearing real. Thank you, Archangel Ariel. On the next breath in, lifting our rib cage slightly, creating more room in the trunk of our tree, letting our belly expand toward our laps like rays of sunshine. Thank you, Archangel Shamuel, for being here to witness our joy at being able to provide this information and the compassion and the camaraderie and the fellowship that we receive here today as a Spiritual View tribe. On the next breath in, let's open up our heart chakra towards the sky, dropping and relaxing our shoulders back and down. Breathing in beautiful green light, Archangel Raphael, our heart's cup is full. Thank you for protecting our heart's cups and only pouring from a full cup and not from an empty one. Please extend this grace out to all of our spiritual viewers in a reminder to protect and guard that beautiful energy. On the next inhale, lifting our chin so that the jaw releases, accepting in Archangel Gabriel's messages of the best and highest good, receiving and delivering clearly and concisely. And thank you for bringing up any energies that need resurrected for healing before we move into this next phase of energy. On the next breath, coming up into the third eye, Archangel Metatron of the Akash, of our own higher souls, for lessons learned this lifetime and all others that are relevant to today's messages and to the energy of today's episode for Christmas. On the last inhale, up and out of our crown, visualizing a white light energy surrounding your body, pausing at the shoulders as above, breathing in, extending that white light underneath you, so below. We ask that Archangel Uriel connect us into the body of esoteric knowledge, again, bringing in messages for the best and highest good and information that will help lead our spiritual viewers to a higher ascension in their own heart healing, full of gratitude, light, and love. Namaste. Okay.
Thank you. So do you want to start our discussion about the winter solstice? Because you had some...
Sure.
Okay, just tell me when you're ready to put it on the screen.
Yep, I am ready. Okay, so I got Florence and the Machine today as I was making my slides. It is the winter solstice, so this is the longest night. So this will be the shortest day coming up as we allow, or the sun is entering Capricorn. We can go to the next slide. So we are moving into the new energy. The days will continue to get longer all the way through to the summer solstice, where that'll be the longest day. Now, that is depending upon where you live in the world. If you're in the southern hemisphere, then that's going to be flipped for you. Here in the eastern hemisphere, we are having the shortest day and the longest night, and happening here. So again, flip it if you are in the southern hemisphere. winter solstice, like all the solstices, summer and winter, is a culmination of energy, and it's symbolic of rebirth energy. And on the next slide, it's just a reminder, it's kind of like when we are releasing and letting go at the top of our roller coaster of our lunar cycle. We do our ho'oponoponos. It feels like that energy because we are releasing what has been for 2024. We are bidding it adieu. And just so we are all used to doing our full moon energetic releases. So this is in the same way, but it's for all of 2024. And if you want to grab or screenshot that phrase, that's the Ho'oponopono 4 phrases that are repeated 108 times. It sounds like a lot, but it actually goes very quickly, and you feel wonderful. It's such a wonderful release. On the next slide, I have opportunities for release for you to consider. So nailing it on the first try. Let's try to release this idea that everything is supposed to be perfect when it rolls out, or that if it's not perfect, I might as well stop trying. The affirmation can be creating the life I desire is a fun, ongoing, lifelong experiment I enjoy. Okay. Another thing we could release is allowing others to discern what is quote unquote right for us. An affirmation suggestion could be, I hold compassion for myself as I release handed down beliefs that no longer resonate with my soul. And the last thing to release would be expectation of outcome. I think that's such a big one. And I struggle with that as well. It's that idea that we know better, we have any control at all over what will be. We do have free will, but we can't predict the exact outcome something's going to be. So we need to really let the universe do its work, put that manifestation out there and try to release attachment to it, which is just hard in general to release attachment. But expectation of outcome, remember, is it lowers our vibrational frequency. So that actually delays what we have coming to us and puts more roadblocks for the universe to then have to clear out, right? It puts us in a lower frequency so that even if the universe is giving us this opportunity, we can't quite reach that high on the shelf because our vibration is still in the energy of expectation. So I know that's a really tough one, but boy, does your energy change when you can really embrace that. An affirmation can be, I give the universe room by allowing abundance to flow to me. Just being in the vibration of already having what it is that you're manifesting. And then I think my last slide is about how to use the energy. And it's really all about, it depends where you live. Of course, we're all going to be living in different weather and have different animals around us depending where we live. But think of it as synergizing with the season. So seasonal synergy, I just think that sounds fun anyway. So if you think about what's happening with the weather in your area, what is the earth doing? Is it hibernating? Are we in an area where it's time to plant? Are we basking like in the summertime energy? Or is it harvest time? It depends, again, where you live in the world. And another way to use the energy is to look around, just look around us, be outside, even when it's cold, even if it's for a few minutes, and notice as you're walking your dog or whatever you're doing, running your errands, like smell the smells, hear the sounds, what is happening in nature, what are the animals doing, what flowers are around you locally that grow there naturally, because every single one of them has a spiritual significance. You can Google it, spiritual significance of daffodils or whatever they are. In addition to that, the animals, any kind of critters, okay, swimming, flying, on the ground, underground, no matter what kind, they all have something to share with us. How are they adapting to the weather in the area? How are they surviving? How are they thriving? They already know what to do. So if we can embody those animals and kind of follow their lead, they already have the down low. They're the best energy readers around. They know what's happening. So if we can emulate that energy, that's a way to feel into what it's supposed to feel like. If we're new to really understanding and feeling the energies around us. And then I believe Elizabeth, oh no, I had one more. Okay, this is more of a screenshot one. I'm not going to read everything for everyone, but just what can be released. What would constitute us continuing something? What does that take? What is working well? What actions, words, or habits are we releasing? What are we continuing? And then what would we start depending on what is going to propel us forward and where are we wanting to be propelled. So again, feel free to grab a screenshot there. Those are some great journaling prompts. And if you've been journaling with me for the last few weeks that I've been providing prompts, there's a whole bunch for you to dive into. And now I believe that's the last one. And I have Liz coming up with her cool ritual for the solstice.
Oh, thank you. That was awesome. And I totally resonate with that. In fact, I see people in the South. I'm in Florida. I'm a Souther. And right now, the white pelicans are here, which is really cool. And osprey and hawks. And that's just I would just resonate so much with that. Okay, so this is an easy, simple practice for the winter solstice, which I've heard from all different sources. So I can't claim this, and I don't know who to reference, but I think it's really cool. And it's there's a few steps, and I'll just go through it with you really quick. But what I want you to do is think of 10 actionable steps that you would like for 2025. Things that you know you would like to put into action, goals, if you want to just bring it down to that. And some areas to consider, and career, health, personal growth, finances, lifestyle. Yeah, I have a lot of examples, and I started a list. I wrote down 10 things, and then I thought about it again today, and I kind of changed them. So give yourself a hot minute to think about 10 things that you really want to make happen. And then I want you to write, let's see, get a piece of paper. I suggest white, but it could be anything you want. And what I did is I folded it and I cut it into little pieces. And I wrote down the 10 things that I would like to focus on. And I put them folded up so I can't see them in this jar. And then we go through the solstice tomorrow here on the East Coast. I believe it's at 4:21 a.m. I noted that in the UK, it is at 9:21 a.m. And so just around the world, I also recommend go outside and ground yourself and find some grass or earth and do that too. But once you have put all your 10 things in here, on the 22nd, pull out one and don't read it. Just pull it out. Let me try. And then you're going to safely burn it, for example, like maybe over an over a shell or a vessel, a safe vessel, and just release it. So it ties into a lot what Angie was saying. And by the 31st, you should have one left. And you're going to read that. And that is the energy, the frequency, the message, the download from your spirit guides, the universe, your higher self, and God, what you should focus on. And then everything else will flow from that. So I think that's really cool. And I would like to share when we come back after the 31st what I pulled. And we'll see. And I actually, like I said, I thought about it a couple times. My questions changed a little bit. And now I'm like, what did I put in there? So it'll be really interesting to see. And I hope you guys will try that and let me know what happens with you after the 31st. So thank you for letting me share that. And then I'm going to turn it back to Jen to guide us through now the next stage of our evening.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So I've got to be thinking about my 10 things, get that done tonight, right? I mean, because it starts today. Is that, or no, it starts tomorrow.
Well, I mean, technically it'll be the 21st at
So, okay, tomorrow.
3:21 for you, I think. Are you an hour behind me?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but certainly tomorrow you have time. The universe understands. Busy woman. Yeah, and then start the process and we'll see what we end up with.
Well, is there anything else anybody wants to add about the winter solstice before we move off of that topic? I think Angie covered a whole lot, so I appreciate you putting all of that together for us. So, Wendy, Marcia, you got anything you want to add? No. All right.
No, I was just gonna say I just think it's a really cool idea, and I'm looking forward to doing that too. I'm jotting down right now. I'm like, okay, I gotta make my 10 things. Okay. So I think it'd be really cool if yeah, we could all kind of do and then share on the live that follows the 31st, maybe that Friday live, I think. What we were kind of left with. If it's not too personal, I don't know. But
yeah,
sounds cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I think it's neat
the slides really, very great slides, Angie. Yeah. By the way, got some kudos out there.
I think it's neat that you're not actually picking what your theme is. Like, that's what I love so much about your ritual, was that it was just like, oh, that is like guided. I like it. Because you're putting all the different things that you could possibly pick, but then you're releasing the outcome to the universe.
Yeah.
So I really like
And there's a couple of things in there. I'm like, oh God, if that's really what you want me to do, like,
oh yeah. Okay. Now a new fear unlocked. Okay.
Well, and it ties into what Angie was saying about releasing that expectation, and letting the universe have that space to let things come to you.
Yeah, here's a perfect example. I talked to Angie a little bit. We have HOA issues. I kind of was like thinking of moving, and that's one of them. Should I move location? Which will then, then we'll go into a whole after cartography discussion. If that's what I pull, everybody, we're going right into that discussion because what the heck? But see, like that would be like if that's what I pull. And that's what changes it. Like, I got to move. But okay, I put it in there. And then, other things like exercise, my health, it's important for everybody, but I'm trying and I have done it. Then it went back up a little bit, getting too much information. I'm getting old. But my cholesterol, I want to keep it down without medicine. It's not about I want to lose 10 pounds. It's what I want to be healthy. I want my numbers to be good.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
When I go to see the doctor. But anyway, or not focus on health at all. That's maybe what the universe will tell me is like, stop it. So
yeah, maybe not like cut off all my hair on one of the slips, or dye.
really,
maybe not give myself a mohawk. Should not be one of them.
And I'm all about doubling my income in my monthly income. But that's not truly actionable, is it? Right now.
Well,
Right.
you never
Sure,
know.
why
It
not?
could be all things that you want to do,
Well,
goals that you
I
want to
didn't
move
put that in
towards.
there because I thought, well, I'm not going to just, it has to be actionable. So I put things that would help me obtain the wealth,
Yeah.
right? And that's a health, love, the important things, but things that you could have a chance at achieving. A lot like our treasure mapping, and when you just, release the expectations and being hard on yourself to make it happen, but trusting the universe, I think, and it just feels fun, and to be able to share it with everybody, I'm glad you guys like it and that we
Yeah,
can.
Elizabeth, I was going to say that of all the things we've done all year, your practical treasure map, and I don't mean to segue, this is not on my list of favorite things, but it's like practical magic. It was so fun, and I've worked that thing all year long.
Oh, I'm so
So
glad, Martha.
similarly, like this is another just super practical thing that I think if people just put their own little magic into it and sustain it, they'll see, right, over that time, how that really is what their soul was calling them to do and action and those things. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
been super
big
fun.
question.
And
Cool.
creating that space, and just allowing can be so difficult because it's scary. It's scary to just kind of let go of that control, right? And just
Yeah.
letting it. That I love that word, allowing, just allowing it to be and to come in. It's I think it's something a lot of people struggle with. And I don't even think it's really something that people really think about that they're doing, that they're holding on to these things. They just think, oh, well, I need that like safety net, or I need to feel like I have something like a placeholder or something there, to fill that space. And so creating a space and allowing it to just kind of be empty for a little bit, can be just, it can be so hard to just release that and let it be, and allow it to be filled externally instead of, coming from yourself. And I mean, I'm speaking from personal experience too. I mean, that's something that I've been working on myself in certain areas of my life, and just like, okay, I just need to let it be, and just sit with that for a little bit and just allow it to be where there's this empty space, and see what comes in, see what I attract in. I mean, that's what we've all been working for anyway, right? Is like raising that vibration so that we can attract what we want to have come in, right? And it's one thing to think about it and be like, yeah, that's what I want to do, but actually doing it and actually allowing the space so that it can happen, not that easy.
I get you. And what I love is Angie and I didn't talk about this, and it blends together. And that's what I love about us merging our magic.
Yes,
And then it's like bringing in
happens with our
and the
video.
coolest people growing with us. It's just really, really fun.
Wendy, I think that's such a good point about like that need to like fill the space. And I feel like that's such it's this conditioning that is kind of underlying. It's not really something that is taught. It's just what people, it's like busy, busy, busy. That means you must be really important, or that means I'm valuable. That's such an underlying unspoken societal message. And I feel like, like seeing some of the 8, 9, 10 of swords, like we're really releasing these toxic ways of thinking, of being, and really ones that we didn't even realize were part of our psyche. Something as a simple example is, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, yes, it does. But when you're going, I know it's going to come in for me, when I know everything is going to be okay, the universe has my back. And my mom always used to say, it always comes from somewhere. So it's, when you put that out there and then just trust, but don't kind of worry about it, don't expect, because both of those personal vibrational frequencies will delay it because we're putting up those obstacles. And if we're not vibing in that place of being able, I always see your wishes and whatever we have ever wished our entire lifetime is in like a big old Amazon warehouse of our mind. And when we're vibrating higher, the things that are clear up on the 25th floor, we can't reach from down in the basement of fear or of anxiousness about what may be or what might be, or having that depression about things in the past. When we release that and just be, like you said, be in that moment, dance if we want to. Dancing's been coming out all week, raise that vibration. Then all of a sudden we're like, donk, you have to be in the frequency of what it is that you've asked for. Because it can be there, the opportunity can be there, but you might not be vibing high enough to actually see it or grab it. So that's such an important lesson, and that's a hard one to do too, of just let it go. And it's like, oh, we gotta stop that white knuckling through life and that nail biting, and trust in your own ability, trust in your own heart, trust in that you'll be able to come from a place of love. And the times that we don't, own it and talk about that and get in a better place. Right. So I think that's really hard to do. It takes practice though, and it does work. So keep at it, everybody. And even on the worst days, we can pet our animal or hug a child or talk to a parent or grandparent that just lifts us up. So you have all of those tools at your disposal, and just even if you have to put them on a sticky note and put them on the fridge so you don't forget them, some days we do, and some days it's hard to reach for those things. But when you have a promise to yourself, I'm gonna dance like an idiot for 3 minutes, it's 3 minutes of your day, and you will feel different. So thanks for saying that.
Sure.
Can I just have to say, I kind of lied about my age to my kids for so long. They're still confused. Sorry, comment on the chat there.
I don't
My
lie
daughter
about
was
my
like,
age, but everybody
recently, she's
is
like, I
always shocked by my
seriously
age.
don't know how old you are. You've lied about it so much. Just hold.
All right, so we were going to transition over to the favorite things conversation, and it's just extending conversation. I want the same energy that we've just had to continue on in this space, because I just love all the laughs and just everything that's been coming out. And so I felt like the best way that we can approach this conversation without it just going, just too broad, is like when we're choosing our tarot and oracle cards, like, is specifically for what types of reading. So that's the way I'm going to approach this. So like if we're going to be having, I'm just going to start with the love reading because that seems to be the most popular ones. What is your go-to decks? And so I want to hear this from every single one of you. And why is this the one that you're choosing? So who wants to start? Marcia.
Well, I don't get many requests for love readings. I know y'all are going to think that's crazy, but I don't. I know that's bizarre. But when I do, I have this deck. I have to stretch for it. Jen, you've thrown me off. I wasn't expecting this.
Right.
But it's called Chibi Love. Chibi Love. And Chibi, I'm probably saying it wrong. Look, Samuel's going to get so mad at me.
It's
I think
chibi.
it would be chibi.
It is chibi.
Okay, thank you. It's a certain kind of artwork that, all these young hip kids kind of identify with. But they're just so adorable. This is Temperance. I know. I just love it. So that's my tarot deck. And this is the card I do for love because one, it comes from my son. And I just don't know how to explain. And anybody who's been a parent, and, for those of you who haven't experienced it. It's not like, I'll just get very personal. I had 7 miscarriages before I had Samuel, and I was in my 40s. So I thought, my journey was I wasn't going to have kids. Having said that, the level of unconditional love that just pulsated through me when I knew there was another human being in this world who had part of my DNA, it was just, I can't even explain it. So I explode with love when I think about my son. So this is the deck I use because I'm really trying to just get in that energy of a love reading. Now, they're not all, what am I trying to say? Wonderful readings, right? I mean, sometimes we hear things in love readings that we don't necessarily want to hear. And then I always use as an oracle the Gaia, that kind of flaming sacred heart. I'm sure we've all seen this one many, many, many times, but I think it really cuts right to the core sometimes of issues in a love reading, or where someone does need to do the release or kind of take a deeper look. So those would be my 2 favorites for a love reading.
I'll go
Thank you
next,
for
Jen.
sharing that. Okay, yeah.
Speaking of love readings that aren't always great, I have What Are They Thinking?
messy.
With there's 20 positive, 20. Well, I hate to say positive, negative. It's just the energy around it and what we have to deal with in love, marriage, baby mama, baby daddy, kind of all that, right? And this, though, was really created out of love for one of my dear friends who has been through some atrocious domestic violence and abuse and trauma. And so there's a long story there. We'll go into it. I want to have her on the channel sometime. But when I want to open up that door about relationships, not just love, there is love messages in here. But I will go to this, and it hasn't really let me down. And what I then like to do is back it up, typically with White Sage Tarot. I like this a lot because it ties in the chakra colors and some other things I love about it. And I'll just leave it there because I have so much to talk about with the other favorite things. But yeah, that's where I go with the love reading.
I'll share the ones that I use. So I use the Romance Angel Oracle to just get the overall energy of the connection before I even dive into the tarot. And then I always like to use the Mermaid Tarot for love readings. I mean, somebody said it before, the water, the emotions, maybe that's why I just find that that's the one that connects to those messages the most for me. So who wants to go next out of Wendy, Angie? There we go.
If I'm doing like an aces reading or which is usually on a one day with the aces, but I love my Lover's Path Oracle. They're square and I don't love the size of them, but what is really cool about them is that the major arcana is full of couples of history. So Norse traditions, mystic traditions, we have their story as the embodiment of that fool's journey lesson. So that even long after a reading, if I'm pulling, what is the emotional connection? What is the emotional nature of this connection for the Ace of Cups for what's happening between these two people? It tells a whole different story that maybe, people haven't heard, or that they can then later research and go, okay, well, instead of the Chariot, for example, this is Tristan and Isolde, and it's called Desire. And this is the whole story of like unrequited love. She was in love with somebody other than who she was supposed to marry. So that's an interesting story, and they can go back later and research more if that couple was really sticking in their craw for some reason. And they're just such cool stories. I mean, Merlin and Vivian, you know, and all the jokes about him being old and craggy and her young and beautiful. And, you know, there's so many fun jokes to tell about the magician's wand with that one. You can add in the humor of, you know, there's Arthur and Guinevere, there's Romeo and Juliet. It just adds such a cool flavor and a different dimension to the cards, and to, you know, the information on that person's love story that they're coming to see us for, if it's for a personal reading. So highly recommended. It's a really interesting deck.
All right. Wendy, do you have
Hey,
something
well,
to add?
I don't really have like a go-to deck for different types of readings. I just kind of, you know, I have decks where I just kind of feel the energy pull me to it, and I go with that because I figure there's something in that deck that has a message for me that wants to come out. And sometimes if I'm doing a deeper dive and I don't want to reset the whole reading, I end up pulling another deck and putting those cards on top to get a further clarification. And I've even had sometimes where I'm doing a reading for somebody and we're right in the middle of it, and then they ask another question, and I'm like, I get one of those kind of that ding of like, it's almost like a little voice in my head just saying, oh, you need a full deck for this. You got to have a full deck for this. So then I go and I grab another one. I do have some of my favorite decks that I am drawn to. I'm always wanting to collect more decks constantly. You know, you see something, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I have to get that. But I know like the Phantom Wise Tarot was one that I really liked, and it's a black and white deck. And it had some different artwork that I really liked, to give some different meanings to the cards. Of course, I know you've all seen me use this Alice the Wonderland Oracle. I love that too. So it's just, you know, it's just kind of whatever I'm drawn to in the moment. Then that's what I go with. So I don't know about you guys. I don't have like a designated deck for any certain kind of reading though.
I love the decks that you have. They're just so artistic. So like I just get more like involved like in your readings just because I'm checking out all the cards that you have. So I love when we're sharing about this. So one of the questions as you were talking I had was, then how do you know if somebody comes to you and like, I have no idea where to even start? They don't even know what their question is. And so like, what are some of your favorite ways to kind of like dig into the cards, like favorite spreads, favorite questions to ask? So that's, I guess, where I'm going to go next with this. And I'm going to let you go ahead and, because you're, yeah.
I can answer that question because I get that a lot. Of people come in, they're like, I've never had a tarot reading before. I have no idea what I want to ask. Just tell me something. And I'm like, okay, hold on. So I have a general spread that I do where I'll cover relationships, career, and spiritual path. I'll pull cards from underneath to the energies that are surrounding them. I might pull oracle cards kind of for an overview of the energies that we're working with. I can have sometimes a card where they are right now and an outcome. And generally in just doing that general overlay, and it's 3 cards for each one, except for the underneath, I just let whatever wants to come through. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 cards. Sometimes it's 10 cards. I mean, it just depends. And then usually with that, a lot of times it's just kind of reiterating where they are in those things and just kind of giving a nod to them like, yes, I see where you are and where you're at. And then sometimes it'll spark a question for somebody and they'll want to know more about a certain thing or a little bit of a clarification there. And a lot of times people, I think they kind of do know what they want to ask, but sometimes I think they're afraid to ask, you know? And so they just kind of want to see, you know, what you come up with, what message comes through to see if it kind of resonates for them. And once they realize, oh yeah, everything that you said is spot on and that totally resonates for me, then they feel a little bit safer to ask their real questions. And then we really dive in and get to it. And sometimes I'll clear the whole thing and start over with the same deck. Sometimes I'll grab a new one. like I said, sometimes I'll just grab a new deck and put it right on top of what I already laid down. So it just depends on kind of what kind of pull I get, what kind of spirit's telling me to go with in what direction. And I can honestly say I've never had a bad reading. Even with people, I've had people who were like really skeptical, and they were like, but I don't know. How do you explain that? And and I've always had where at the end people were like, yeah, okay, no, I do see that, and yeah, that does actually resonate. And like, I don't know how you knew that or how you pulled that card, but I'm like, hey, I'm just the messenger. It's like the messages come through. It's like I'm just kind of channeling the messages, and it's like, and I say too, it's like what comes out is just it's what you need to hear in this moment, and do with the information what you will. I mean, for me, tarot has always been just kind of a tool, for that. So,
Wendy, real quick, everybody wants to know about your piano.
oh, okay. So the piano, it's over 100 years old. Oh, I think I just knocked something over. It's over 100 years old. It was my mom bought a house like out in the country, and the people who had it before her, they left the piano. I think they didn't want to pay to have it moved, so it got left behind. But she didn't want it in that house. So then we moved it over here, and my kids play on it, and they're all musical. So they do really well on it and stuff. But yeah, and it's in the living room. I'm actually sitting at my dining room table. So yeah, it's just in the shop a lot, unless I move. Sometimes I move around in the house, but yeah. So that's the story with the piano.
Okay. Does anyone else want to add to the whole how you approach a general reading? Okay, Marcia.
Yeah, no, it's very similar. So I use the Good Tarot always when I start a reading, whether the clients ask for it or not, to gauge their energy. Since, well, this is for recorded readings, whether they're live with me or not, I always draw, deeply connect with their energy, deeply, kind of meditating on their question. So it's so that we get tethered. And then I pull cards, like I said, just for their energy. I find that what I get most often is it's the extreme. So I either get people who are so timid, they will not come on camera with me, right? Or they're just so scared to ask questions. And so that general spread at first is really helpful. So they're either very skeptical and they're trying to test me, right? Is she really all those kind of things. And we feel that, you guys, I'm just going to tell you, we know. Or I get people that like there's so much details. It's like, let me help you ask the best question, right? Because it's just this so much, they want so much, and you can tell their soul is just dying for answers, so to speak. And maybe that's not the right word, but they're just so thirsty for answers, maybe is a better way to say it. So I always start with the Good Tarot just to get an energy spread, like I said, whether they've asked for it or not. And I think it helps them just kind of calm down, come into the reading. Usually that part I don't record, even if it's a recorded reading. I just want them to feel like we're just old friends. We're just establishing our connection. And I just find that's really helpful for either people who've had readings or not. Oh, sorry.
I can add to that.
Okay.
If they will give me their birth date, as a numerologist, I'm off and running, and I can really tell people a lot. But much like Marcia said, if they don't give me that or they're testing me, I will tap in before and pull a few cards and go from there. But can I just real quick, since I'm talking about numerology, mention Lindsay and her decks and how I got there. Lindsay's one of my favorite people, and her decks and her jewelry and her everything, her crystals. even this thing like a Kwanzaa wand. Oh my gosh, you guys. I think I gave Jen the website. I believe it's the Hermit Numerologist. Look at this tarot bag with the crystal on it. She's just amazing. But I learned so much about understanding people's energy and frequencies from the numerology and the numbers around you guys. And from that, too, she created a past life oracle deck. These are her hands. I think I've shown you guys this before. And these are really wonderful, even outside of numerology, to understand some of the traumas and characteristics and beautiful traits that we come into this life with. Some we asked for, some we didn't. And then moving on, she created the Oracle deck of alchemy. And this is beautiful too, because there's energy around the numbers, the life path, the life energy. There's archangels in here, and even the energy around letters. So this is just really encompasses a lot. And then just a couple more. When her dog passed, but I find this is helpful for any kind of grieving and loss, is I don't even know what she calls it, to be honest. I think she calls it the Divine Oracle deck, if I believe. She created it when her dog passed, and it's just lovely, lovely oracle affirmations for people to understand that energy as well. And then lastly, but never the end when it comes to learning from Lindsay, she has the charm casting information and charms that I got from her that are amazing. And then real quick, I think I gave Jen a link to Mary Moses Art on YouTube. She is something else. Like, you can just go down a whole nother rabbit hole with her as far as sacred geometry, symbology, archangels that are around you, goddess and god energy, past life, what we are meant to do moving forward. And she does it all through scrying. And she has read for me a couple times and feel so blessed. And so you can watch that YouTube link. It's really long, but I think you'll get captivated watching her and listening. And she did read for me at the end. I'm one of the last ones, so probably like the last 30 minutes. And so shout out to Mary Moses too. And she is a little fairy oracle also, Jen. She's another, so I had to mention her. She really is just something else. I think they both are. And Lindsay's the hermitnumerologist.com. So I'd love for you guys to check out her website. And I want to have her on the program sometime soon too. All kinds of exciting things for 2025.
Angie, do you want to add to this conversation?
Oops. Sure. I go in layers. So I always send out clients the first 9 to 12 cards that are going to be on the table first anyway, so they know what the placements are. They all have a specific meaning. The pre-shuffle, I explain that that's kind of like the crinkly parts of the onion that you kind of have to slough off. And then that first set of that 9 cards really is going to show where the whole entire reading's going to go. So even if I don't mind if people are shy about their question, because I assure them that it's going to come out in the energy. It's going to reveal itself anyway. And if they are a little bit nervous, I find, like Marcia said about grounding, getting our energy connected, one-on-one. My favorite is just having the client in front of me, because I feel them. And once I've had the client one time, literally the next time we have a meeting, the connection is more instant because I've already tapped into their energy. So really it depends on how much time they've booked, of how deep we can get and how nitty gritty we can go in there. But just really, even just having those first 12 that are designated in that spot. I read the bottom of the deck always as environmental energy, or the yang to the yin. And then I really just let the client be curious about what certain cards mean or what speaks to them the most. And then let them ask more questions as we go. Because if someone has a whole spreadsheet full of questions, it's just like, let's breathe. we're going to breathe together first, and then the story's going to come out in those first 9 cards. So we're going to get the base of our reading there. And if we get to meditate together too, that just tells me so much. If I'm doing someone's birth chart, I get messages. I do them by hand. So I get messages as I'm writing up their charts, and I make notes as I go along, because I can feel their energy as I'm plotting their chart. So that's always a fun way too, to get to know my client before I even see their face or hear their voice. And it's such a neat way to tap into that energy. So that's kind of how I do it. We do all have a lot of similarities, and I love how we vibe off of each other. So whenever we do have a chance to be on here together and do readings for the collective, they're all so connected, and it fascinates me every single time. I'm gobsmacked every single time. There's not been an episode that I wasn't geeking out like, oh my God, wow, that was so cool. So for me, it's about connection. And it's going to come out in conversation. So
Angie, I just want to hop in here, and you said it, and you made me think of it. It's when you have repeat readings for clients, I get excited, like it's an old friend.
Yeah,
and I find myself, I had one lady in particular, I know I took her off guard because I just slipped right in, how you been? Blah, blah. It's like, Marcia, slow down. She doesn't know you that well. I know her better than she knows me, right? Because I've seen her chart, I've studied it. And just like you said, Angie, even if they don't ask for an astrological reading, or Elizabeth mentioned, having those numbers, having that birth information, I look it up, I get to know you intimately before we ever chat. And that really is a privilege that people will, cut loose with that information. It's like such a deep look at their soul. I'm just saying, it's lovely. And, it's a lovely job to have, I guess. So
yeah, I love that you guys mentioned that, because we're always studying astrology. I think all of us, it's a never ending thing, and all of it. But yeah, if you're willing to share your birth date, I know I can tell a lot where you are and what's coming, but then the time and place and all that, yeah, we can get a good idea. So I love that.
And
but it is like an old friend, I mean, even when I meet with someone for the first time, if I've done their chart, the energies, the connection has already been reestablished in my heart, because that was an energy connection in the first place. There's a reason they go, oh, Marcia's my gal, and they want to, and they want to book. That's what we're trying to help teach you guys how to do, is connect to your intuition, because that's whatever you feel pulled toward. There's a reason for that. We've already met in my heart. So, and then when we do get to actually physically meet again, it feels it is like an old friend, because we've met before.
I want to add to what Marcia was saying. I think that they actually feel more connected to us than what we know, because we do know them so deeply. And so I think that they do think, no, she knows me. We know each other well, because that's been the experience that I've had from some of the repeats. And I'm like, actually, that was just your gift from, your guides that came through me. And so I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and move me back to the screen, because I haven't shared my general experience. But I did want to ask the rest of you, like, do you feel like that the messages, when they come through, they're not your messages, and so you don't necessarily keep them, and so they can come back to you later and they're asking you about it, and it's like, that was yours. And I hope that will give them a little bit of comfort, that like, if you're embarrassed about any question that you might have, I mean, it's not being like judged or retained or anything like that. It's just literally the guidance is coming through whatever you need at that time. So when I have someone who does not have a clue where to begin, I have 2 different spreads that I'll go to. So one is the crazy brain spread, which is just, this is what you think is happening right now. This is what is actually happening right now. And this is the advice for, the situation. And then the other is the Celtic cross, just because that's going to give you so much information that something is going to trigger in you to be like, okay, I want to know more about that. And then I also, if I have the opportunity to have them in front of me, I'm going to give you enough time to just kind of talk to me, because as you're talking, I'm listening to what is bringing out emotion in you, because that's your pain points. And that's the points that I know, like, that means the most to you. And typically I'm told what they like most about the readings with me is that I can get to the question that they didn't even know that they had. And I get that just by listening to you talk. And so once I know, like, this is really what we're trying to get to, now I can get in and we can ask the right questions of the cards and really get the information for you. And so that's how I approach that. And then Wendy said too about, you kind of get guided as to which cards to use, just, throughout that. And so, like, if you're really connected all throughout, every single thing is part of the message. And so it's not even just the cards. I've had, like, a spider has shown up and I knew that was part of the reading. And so you've got to just pay attention to everything. And I think that they don't realize too how much their energy is coming in. And because, I did a reading for someone, was it a week ago? And she was talking about how all of these animals that she's been calling in or working with were showing up in the reading. That had nothing to do with me. That was you. That was your guide showing up for you, giving you your messages. So, okay, I'm going to stop there. I think I've gone too far. But I just want to now give you the opportunity to just share anything else, because you did prepare your favorite things. So anything else you want to share that would be helpful just for the collective to know. So who wants to go first? Marsha.
I just have 2 quick things. These are super simple, and one is not even really related to tarot. But this past year, I was on a mission to have better hair. So in that vein, I found a company called Moon Juice. And what they are, I had to write this down, but it is plant-sourced adaptogens. And they just blend and alchemize in your body and give you nutrients and things that you didn't really even know you had. They're not vitamins. They're not pharmaceuticals. But if you don't know what an adaptogen is, I went and got the definition. It is any substance that enhances the body's ability to resist stress and promote homeostasis or balance. So it really kind of, again, I'm just telling you, there are nutrients that you don't even know you're missing in your body, micronutrients. And this company, Moon Juice, they have, well, I personally take one called Super Hair and Super You. I take Super You, and man, I am so mellow all day. I can't even describe it. They also have a wonderful magnesium supplement that if you travel and you have trouble sleeping, and I'm going to get personal again with my saggy bluntness, if you have trouble staying regular when you travel, magnesium is your friend. And it's called magnesium. It's so gentle on your body and it's so delicious. And when you drink it warm at night with a little chamomile tea, I'm telling you, a la la land, and you will wake up so refreshed. So Moon Juice for plant-sourced adaptogens. I love them. My other favorite thing, and this came to us through Dawn, through her association with Nat over at Chai Astrology. And Dawn and I have had a couple opportunities to just geek out on astrology, as we all do. We do, but I particularly loved Chai Astrology's newsletter. And it's just chaiastrology.com. When you go to type it in, though, your Google browser is going to want to send you to Chani, right? CHNI. That's not it. It's CHAI astrology.com. Her newsletter is so thoughtful and in-depth, but so relatable that you don't really have to know a lot about astrology. You can feel the warmth of how she wants to embrace you and teach you in astrology. There's tons of free resources there. So I just encourage everybody to check out. I've really, really enjoyed her newsletter for some like off-topic esoteric information that I wouldn't have put together. And I didn't hear other people talking about it. So I really loved that this year.
Can I jump in really quick? Jen, what did I say before we came on air? I go, well, one of my favorite things is hair color. But I don't think anybody wants to know that because I need to cover the gray, and I'm not going to stop. And also I struggle with taking care of my hair and skin. So thank you. Amazing tip. Love it. And sleeping, all that. Got you. Thank you.
Did you want to go ahead and share any final things?
Oh, no, I did. I mean, Lindsay Knight and Mary Moses and all of you are my favorite things.
All right. Anybody want to go next? Wendy or Angie? Going with Angie.
Well, my latest favorite thing is really incorporating the Sabian symbols. I've always had the moon and the cycles up. That's mostly where I pull my energy in for the readings, is more present day of in the moment, and all based on empowerment and helping them make those, decisions, or giving them information on what the energy is saying. But those Sabians offer such a depth to the signs and the way they've been showing up the last couple weeks. I mean, that the reading on the sliding doors that I was telling you guys about, of the changing timelines. What if you missed the train? And then literally the next day, I'm like, okay, what's today for Venus? And it was a train moving through a tunnel. And I was like, what? And then and then something else this morning when we came to our meeting, and there was something else about another train. I'm like, what is going on with the trains? So I really love adding that flavor in there. And I also, I love being able to kind of share my musings and my writings, because I'm figuring out that even if I don't pull any cards for that day, like everything was already in there somehow, in some way, no matter how weirdly it is. Like the red and white socks on Wendy's card on the last live that we had, and that I just kept seeing that red and white thing come up over and over again. So I think that for me is really favorite things, is being able to have the feedback from our spiritual viewers that they're seeing the same numbers, they're seeing the same signs, just to have that validation of, okay, keep doing what we're doing, because we are merging our magic, and we're trying out new things right along with you guys. So the feedback is really essential to us to, okay, what is resonating with you, what is most helpful to you for your empowerment. So we really do. I think that's probably my most favorite thing is the feedback, and the time that you all take to give us comments on all of our channels and on the Spiritual View. On every single video, we see the same OGs, and you guys really are the foundation of who we are, and you're the foundational energy. So I don't want that to go unseen. I want to make sure that you really understand that. I mean, that's the biggest gift of all, is just your energy and your contribution. and I say it all the time on this channel and on my channel, my favorite thing is like how you take care of each other in the comments. You all have gotten to know each other. When somebody new comes in, you're welcoming them in with open arms. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so proud of the greeting crew. And it's just like amazing to me. I've never had that experience other than meeting you guys, but we were in such a condensed group. When we got together, you know, that was a specific group of people. And I just feel like this is just so beautiful what we're creating here, this community. That is literally my favorite thing of all. And that means so much.
Angie, oh, go ahead, Wendy.
Go ahead and jump in.
I just, I know you've had so much fun with the Sabian symbols this year. I want you to look up the 11 star. It is, the 11 star marks your sun and the position of its 7th harmonics, and it reveals the 7 keys and symbols to your life via the Sabian symbols. You will love that.
I've done my every single placement in my chart. That's really cool too, to go through and see what the lesson of your sun is. And I'll definitely, that's been on my to-do list. So thank you, because that was my sign, Marcia.
Yeah.
To give
Okay, so Wendy, do you have anything you want to add? Any final? Okay.
Yeah, well, that was beautifully said, Angie. And I think one of my favorite things has been working with you guys has been seeing how we do kind of merge our magic and the synchronicity with our videos. I mean, I don't know if the people watching knows, but it's like we don't come up with a weekly topic or something that we all base our daily videos on. We just do our daily videos, but somehow they all end up relating to each other or having some kind of similar message that runs through them all. And that's just something that we've noticed over time, looking back and watching each other's videos. And we're just like, whoa, it's like that. Yeah, that totally resonates. That was in my video too, or that came up for me too. And that link between us all, that's just naturally, organically coming out and occurring, is just, I think, so awesome. It's really, really cool. So I've really been enjoying seeing that, because we've thought about like, oh, well, should we come up with something? And it's like, we don't really need to, because they just kind of sync up anyway. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. And then on a very personal note, and this might seem really silly, but recently, and it's, I tell myself it's the little things, right? The little things in life that we take enjoyment in and that just kind of perk us up. Okay, I love drinking tea especially in the morning, and at night and whenever. But I'll have a cup of hot tea, and I always used to have like black tea with sugar and creamer, and I would always put the creamer at the end. And then I've been putting honey and the creamer in the cup first before I add the hot water, and I mix those together. Sometimes I'll put a little lion's mane in there or something. And then I add the hot water with the tea bag and let it steep. And I don't know what it is about doing the order different or whatever, but it tastes so much better. So I don't know if that helps anybody, but it's that little thing that's a part of my day-to-day life where I just made this little change, and it's like it really elevated it for me. And I'm like, oh, I enjoy it so much more. So then I get excited about having that cup of tea in the morning.
I'm diehard tea drinker, and that's funny. There's a lot of debate about that, the milk first or last.
Right.
There's a big debate about that.
Yeah.
I think Americans do it one way, the English do it one way, the Canadians do it one way. See, Ed's jumping in.
Yes.
Oh, good point, though.
I will try that. I will try the loose tea. Thank you.
We can't hear you, Jen.
All right, let me start over. Thank you. So I said, y'all hit it for me too. Is like the thing that I'm most thankful for is just all of you guys and just getting to do this with you and just see where it goes and just all the magic that really has come out with all of this. And of course, all of the viewers that have been the foundation. It's like, this is why we get so excited about showing up. It's just because we do get to hang out with our friends. And, so that's why I did want to do the game that we're going to be doing. And so I think that it's a good enough time as any to go ahead and do that. And so for the game, we are giving away one of our spiritual view mugs. And I had AI create a Christmas tarot card to use for this game. And so I'm going to put it on the screen for 10 seconds. And I want you to just take in as much as you can take in about this card. And then after that, I'm going to ask a specific question. And the person who guesses the answer correctly first will be the one who wins the mug. All right. So are you ready? Okay. So 10 seconds.
That is beautiful. I love AI art. I don't know about everybody else. I recognize it, but anyway.
No, I love it too. I'm embracing AI till it gets me.
All right. Are we ready? Okay. So the question about that card, how many fairies were on that card?
Cue the Jeopardy music.
Okay. We've got, let's see, answers coming in. I'm going to let everybody take some
Those
guesses.
answers rolled in fast.
All right. So we do have a winner. There were 8 fairies on this card. And so Kathy Painter, you are the winner. And if you will, let me see if I can find this. If you will email us your address to this email address, I will get that out to you as soon as possible. So I'm so excited. You're going to have one of our mugs. Hopefully we can get some set up to be able to sell on the shop soon. But I mean, that's all stuff that we've got to be working on in this coming year. We've got a lot of stuff. Actually, I'm going to put everybody back on the screen. We do have a lot planned, for this coming year. One of the things is we've got an Oracle deck that we're actually in talks about that Wendy is kind of leading up for us. And we've got memberships that we've been talking about. We've got classes, courses. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. Anything that y'all want to add, just, go ahead. And if you're ready, you can close this out if you want, Elizabeth, if you didn't have anything else to share.
No, I was just excited to tell everyone in the chat, if you would like to share your suggestions with us, drop a comment on this live and we'll move that forward into 2025 and keep transforming it. It's going to be interesting. And I'm glad we can all be here together, always lifting each other up and really spending some really good quality time. Has been amazing. Thank you so much. I love you all. And I know they're sending out love to you too, you guys. And
You
to
got
have
a retreat in there.
Retreat.
I like how Peggy thinks.
Yeah.
that's one of my actionable steps.
I'm ready to brand our own wine. I know that's probably going to have to go on the back burner, but maybe tea. You have no idea how hard it was for me to hold back on the jokes with all the tea bags, but I'll reserve that for my channel where I get a little spicy.
Speaking of that, my friend Mandy that I want to have on that I gave you guys the journals. She creates tea based on your sun signs, loosely. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Super fun, right? So yeah, there's so much, and we've
And we
really
got to
loved.
twist Wendy's arm to get us our small batch candles, and yeah, I love that idea that making the tea according to your astrology. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Maybe the tea could be rubbed on the candles after the oil is on there.
Oh, I have one last
Sounds
tip
like a
too,
date.
and I should have done it myself. Oh, I didn't do it. You guys could put like if you like essential oils or anointing oils, you could put that also on your paper. I forgot to mention that.
Oh yeah, good one.
Yeah, you could anoint your what? Your goals, or that's such a lame word. Your manifestations.
There we go.
But anyway, so yeah, we want to just wish you all a very peaceful, safe, wonderful holiday. I know we're going to miss seeing each other and you guys so much. So come back on the 30th at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, don't forget to comment, please share. Oh, and anybody, if you guys have TikTok accounts, will you tell everybody to come here for us too? Seeing what's happening over there in my TikTok world. So yeah, just can't wait to see you guys and bring in 2025. Mwah. Thank you for
We'll
being
miss
here.
you. It's going to feel so weird next week, but we'll see. That'll just give us a bigger reunion energy when we get the band back together.